Do you prefer being a UX designer or UX manager? Wedding diet? Oh man. Hello guys, it's Tiff. It's time for a Q&A. So a couple of days ago, I decided to go on Instagram and I said you can ask me any question. It could be UX related, life related, wedding related, anything. I don't know if I'll be able to get to all of them, but I'm definitely going to try to answer the most popular ones and get through as much of it as I can. So let's get started. A lot of you guys found me through my UX design videos and my work life. So of course, I've got quite a few UX questions. First question is, how did you get started in UX? Now, I actually have a video on this already where I kind of go through how to get a design job in UX design without having a degree. But to kind of summarize it up, I kind of had no experience at first. I didn't have a UX degree. I didn't study UX in college. So it was a really new field to me when I found out about it. And so I decided to do a career change. I actually decided to take a boot camp that was online while I was working full-time at my job. I think I was a technical writer at the time or working at an engineering company. And it was a beginner course to kind of understand all the UX concepts. And so I did that, learned a lot of the fundamentals, started building my portfolio, and then I applied to a bunch of companies. I applied to like 50 companies, and eventually one of them said yes. I interviewed, and I was able to land my very first UX job at like this healthcare company. So that's pretty much how I was able to get into UX, and that one job really helped me learn a lot. So I've been working in UX for about 5 years now at least, and so it's been really great, and I'm very, very happy that I did that transition. How did you balance your old job with learning UX on the side to make a transition? That's all about, I'd say, time management. I think time management is so important just in life in general. I had a job that was actually pretty like relaxed. I didn't have to do a lot of overtime or anything. It was pretty chill, so I think that I was really grateful that I had a job that was like that, because I would do my job, my normal, 8 to 5, and then after that, I would listen to my UX courses after work, and then I would do my homework for UX on the weekends and stuff, and that was pretty much how I was able to balance it out. I took a part-time UX design course, so I think that was really helpful. I wasn't part of the big full immersive course. I considered doing that, but I really didn't want to quit my job just yet until I knew for sure that I wanted to be part of that field. So that's what I did. Did you pick your own engagement ring? If so, do you have any advice? Yes, I am not a person that's good with surprises. I'm definitely a planner, and I feel like an engagement ring is such a big and expensive thing. So I don't really understand when people don't look at the engagement ring ahead of time. I definitely, in my personality, did not want my husband or fiance to pick out a ring that I didn't like, especially since they're so expensive. And so I made sure that I went with him to go ring shopping. We went to a couple of different places just to kind of see the style. I really didn't know anything about engagement rings, and there's so much that goes into it. But we went to this place called Brilliant Earth, which was a place that was recommended to me by my friend, and I scheduled an appointment with them, and they taught me so many things, like all the different cuts, the clarity, the shape, the bands, and I think that was really helpful because I was able to like look at the different sizes on my finger, the colors that I liked, and I was able to narrow down the things that I basically wanted. And so when he came and he proposed to me, he gave me the exact ring that I wanted, and I loved it. So highly recommend going to a place like Brilliant Earth. I feel like they're pretty affordable, really good customer service, and they made things really, really easy for us, so highly recommend it. Favorite restaurants and bars in the South Bay? Ooh, so I would say favorite bar in South Bay is definitely this bar in Santana Row. Santana Row is this outdoor shopping center that I live nearby that has a bunch of really cute aesthetic places, and if you know me at all, I feel like It's in my nature. I'm a designer. I love beautiful, pretty things. So there's this place called El Jardín, and it's like a tequila bar, and it's outside in this really cool, like popular shopping center, and it's got like boho vibes, super aesthetic and cute. They have like nice little tequila drinks. I love tequila, so that's where I like to go. They've got music sometimes that plays like live, and it's just a great vibe. So that's probably my favorite bar in the South Bay. I also am obsessed with hot pot. I love shabu, and so I'm a regular at this place called Moo Hot Pot, and it's basically shabu. They have lots of different soup broths, and so I always get the sukiyaki flavor. So that is my go-to restaurant, favorite restaurant in the South Bay. Okay, oh my gosh, I had to move because that sun was burning me, and I was just starting to sweat. So, all right, let's continue. Love your style. Please provide links of your outfits and where you shop at usually. Thank you so much. I am so flattered when people and girls tell me they love my style. I love fashion, and I'm always looking at other people's like clothes and fashion, but I'd say my go-to places that I shop at is depending on the mood, but I'm all about the vacation wear. So the places that I always shop at is one, Princess Polly Boutique. I feel like a lot of people shop there, but I love that place. I think it's affordable. It has a lot of really cute, trendy pieces. And so I'm always like looking at that spot when I want to dress up to go to a cute dinner, or if I have vacation or any fun event. Shein is also another really good one. It's kind of a hit or miss. It's cheaper, but then the quality can sometimes be a hit or miss. So it either looks good or it doesn't. But they've got a lot of trendy pieces and a lot of selections. So I'm usually spending like hours just scrolling on Shein and buying a bunch of clothes that I want to wear for like vacation. I also love to shop at ASOS, like basically places that have really good shipping, fast shipping, because I'm all about like the 1 to 2 day shipping. ASOS actually has some surprisingly really cute clothes sometimes, so I'll go there to look for like dresses a lot. Obviously Revolve is always really, really cute, but they can get pretty expensive sometimes, so I save those for special occasions. But definitely my top 3 is Princess Polly, Shein, and ASOS. Is UX design too saturated? That's hard. I think like everything is saturated, to be honest. I think that UX design is a lot more popular today than it was a couple years ago. I do think that it's not impossible to get a job. A lot of companies are constantly learning UX, and they're realizing how important it is. So I feel like it's not too saturated. I think it really depends on where the jobs are. I think that there's definitely areas that have way more UX design jobs than others. So I'd say places like the Bay Area, San Francisco, LA, they have a lot more UX design jobs available. And so I think that those are probably like great places where you can find jobs there. Top advice for having a Hawaii wedding, specifically on the Big Island. My advice is you need to be very patient, very patient. Low key, if I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't have done my wedding in Hawaii, just because it was really frustrating to work with. I ended up loving my wedding. It was perfect. It turned out amazing. I loved a lot of the vendors that I worked with. But it was kind of a logistical nightmare. The Big Island is huge, so big, and you really have to figure out how to get people, like how they're going to be transported, because it just takes so long to get to anything. So I kind of felt bad that a lot of my guests had to like rent cars and drive so far just to see certain areas of the island. But my biggest tip would be to be very, very patient with people that you work with, because people in Hawaii are on island time, and if you're not patient, then you're definitely going to like rip your hair out. Just like continue to follow up with people. I think that a lot of the times I made an Excel sheet that really kept me organized, and it helped me with planning the wedding a lot. And I constantly would share that Excel sheet with the vendors in Hawaii so that they knew exactly what my vision was. And so they didn't have to second guess. There's no ambiguity. So really creating an Excel sheet that's detailed and going through all those little details with them and letting them know and being proactive, I'd say is my biggest tip for Hawaii. And patience. Do you prefer being a UX designer or UX manager? I've only been a manager really for like 2 months, so it's kind of hard to say, but I would have to say so far, I definitely like being a UX designer better than a manager. Being a manager has its perks too, and it's been a really great learning experience, and it's definitely very interesting as well. But it's just two completely different things. I think being a UX design manager is more like you're worrying more about other people and like trying to help them grow in their career and making sure that they're happy and strategy and all that. And those are all things that I'm still learning right now. I think that ideally, if I could, I would want to be a UX design manager like later on in my life, like down the line. But you know, it happened a little bit earlier than I expected. It's not bad. I'm learning a lot, and so we'll see. And I'm excited to see the team grow, and if it does, who knows? Maybe I'll like it more than UX design, but I'd say for right now in this current state, I liked being an individual contributor more than being a manager. What keeps you motivated to keep creating content? I think honestly what motivates me is watching really inspirational speakers. I really like the creators that are really relatable and make you feel like connected to them. And so when I watch them and I watch their content and it makes me feel a certain way watching their content, that's what kind of motivates me to create my content. Like I really want my content to like inspire others to feel a certain way or for them to feel motivated in their jobs in their life. I really want to make an impact on other people's lives too. So I think that's a really big thing to keep me motivated to create content. And also when I get messages that are really encouraging from you guys and you tell me like, I love your content, I love this specific video that you made or this, or you helped me get my first job or you helped me want to do UX, that really motivates me way more than you know. So I really appreciate you guys like doing that. It really is such an encouragement for me. Will you ever move back to Orange County or will you stay in the Bay Area? That's a good question. I am definitely more of an Orange County girl and I love Southern California. So I definitely one day will move back to Orange County for sure. This is something I've actually expressed to my boss already. So that's something we have talked about potentially being possible, and I'm not sure exactly what will happen. But the good thing is there's a lot of remote work that's available these days, and that's something that I love so much because it makes that possible. So I think I'll definitely move to Orange County, but when? I don't exactly know yet. My boyfriend still hasn't asked me to move in with him after dating for over 2 years. How do I hint? You just ask. I mean, it really depends on your relationship, but for me, I'm definitely a very direct person and I'm so bad at being subtle. Like, I cannot be subtle. I'm so obvious. Maybe you can always have a conversation where you talk to him and you talk to him about, oh, how do you feel about moving in together? Like, kind of gauge, like, from his response, like, what do you think about if you were to move in with someone at this time? I literally asked Kevin like straight up. I think I had a conversation with him and said, I'm really bad at long distance. Like, I know myself. I feel like I'm pretty clingy. I need that human interaction, and I don't think that I could do a long distance relationship, but I'm moving to the Bay Area, so you can either like come or not. But I feel like if you don't come, then I don't think it's gonna work out. And that's how direct I was with him. And so I kind of left it up to him, but obviously I told him I'd love it for him to come and move with me, but he knew exactly where I stood, and I was very straightforward with it. And it worked out because he was able to get a job like a month later, so we really didn't do long distance for that long. So that's how I was able to move in with Kevin. How can someone from overseas get a job in Silicon Valley? Well, I think it's actually possible because it really depends on the company itself and if they're hiring remote designers. There's a lot of opportunities these days to do remote work. So someone overseas can totally get a job at a company in Silicon Valley. It really depends on the team, the company, and like what they're looking for. I think a lot of people are looking for a specific experience. And so my company has definitely hired people in India or in Canada. And so there's a lot of different global companies out there. I think it just depends on like which companies you apply for, but it's possible. Wedding diet, oh man, I did not have a wedding. I mean, I'm very bad at dieting because I feel like I've been telling myself for like 10 years to lose like 10 pounds and it's been really hard. I'm a huge sweets fan. So really what I do is I try to make this rule for myself, at least before the wedding, was on the weekdays I'd eat pretty healthy. I'd count my calories. I would pretty much eat salads for lunch during the weekdays. I did some intermittent fasting where I didn't really eat breakfast, and for dinner I'd have a pretty low carb diet. I would try to eat a lot of sea bass and broccoli or chicken with like half a cup of rice and broccoli, and drink a lot of water. So I try to keep my calories pretty low carb, and I think for me that helped a lot, and lay low on the sugar. For most of the week, I was only able to eat out at restaurants for like 2 meals for the whole week, 2 or 3 meals for the whole week. That's what my challenge was for myself, and I think that was helpful. Okay, that's a lot of questions. I'm tired. Thank you so much for sending them in. I hope that you liked this Q&A and you found it helpful and you got to know me a little bit more. It was really fun chatting with you guys. If you want to see more of these Q&As, let me know in the comments below. I can do these more regularly so I can get to all the questions if possible. And I feel like, yeah, everything's always changing. My life's always changing. My perspective on things is always changing. So thanks so much again for watching this video. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks for sticking around. Bye guys. Mwah.